I am the famous American, and I have a question for you. I have a conversation for you. Here in the United States, this is not something you can necessarily openly talk about, especially on social media. But let's have a real conversation. You being a real person, me being a real person. Here we go. So, gender. I feel, if I'm hearing correctly, there are people who are saying that gender is a social construct. And that's the topic of this video. Is gender, do you believe gender is a social construct? Now, I'm using the word believe because what I recognize is that anything you believe in your mind, to you, is truth. So many things in life are not actual fact, but we make them that way in our minds because that's our version of truth. So this is an opinion I'm asking. Now, this is not asking for a fact. I'm asking for your opinion. Do you believe that gender is a social construct? Is it something ultimately society made up as some sort of survival guide? Is it made up? Does it not exist apart from the concept of us identifying? I'll give you an example of a social construct if you ask me. Fruit and vegetables. When you really get down to it, there's no real way to know what a fruit or a vegetable is. You know, a lot of times a fruit, it's sweet and it has seeds inside of it. Well, there's things that have seeds inside of it, like a cucumber, that's not sweet and it's a vegetable. Of course, tomato is an obvious example. It's got seeds, it's not sweet, you put it in your salad. We can think of plenty of examples and exceptions. Because I will tell you, fruits and vegetables, it's just a made up construct thing that we recognize. But ultimately, it's how we perceive it. Is gender the same way? What do you believe? Now, I want to remind you that I openly believe that race is a social construct. I can understand that concept of it. And the proof being this. Everybody would agree that the one drop rule is a bad thing. And it has been a bad thing. That if anybody had any African ancestry in them at all, that could be held against them to take their rights away. But looking at it from today's perspective, who can identify as a black American? When you look at DNA tests, most black Americans have something like 2/3 to 3/4 black or African DNA, which means still a high percentage, a decent percentage of them is still European descent. So then ultimately you end up in a Halle Berry situation where she openly identifies as being a black American, but her mother was white and her mother raised her. Same thing with President Obama. And ultimately you can understand how ultimately that unravels itself. But going back to the question at hand, I can understand how fruits and vegetables, social construct. Race, I can understand how that's a social construct. But when it comes to male and female, when it comes to that being a social construct, there are people who say that it is. There are people who say it is not. What is fact? What is belief? What is opinion? You tell me in the comment section right here.